Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to this unique observation experience. Today, we're stepping away from the usual noise and looking at a deeply transformative framework from the True Awakening retreats. Now, if you've ever felt completely drained despite doing everything right, or if you feel like you're constantly chasing a sense of peace that always just seems out of reach, well, you are in the exact right place. We're going to map out the real root of that modern exhaustion. And trust me, it's not what you think. So before we go any further, I want you to gently pause for a second. Consider this one single question. Who is observing? Seriously, before we add any new information to your plate, think about who is actually experiencing your current reality right now as you listen to this explainer. Keep this question anchored in your mind, because every single concept we cover today exists simply to help you answer this one profound inquiry. Let's start with where so many of us find ourselves right now. It's that heavy beginner's pain. You might be dealing with endless overthinking, crazy emotional swings that lead straight into self-denial, or just this chronic physical tension, this feeling of being entirely stuck. The source material describes this beautifully, and honestly kind of tragically. It says it's like trying to survive in a tiny bonsai pot. You're constantly pruning away parts of yourself just to fit into society's expectations, all while your mind spins endlessly like a noisy washing machine. You're doing so much, right? Yet your life force feels completely drained. Section 1. The true nature of endless fatigue. Now, what's really interesting here is that we have to look away from the symptoms and stare directly at the root cause. You've probably tried positive thinking, right? Working harder, resting more, but the fatigue always comes back. Why? Well, it comes down to a structural illusion. It's the absolute, unquestioned belief that your thoughts, your emotions, and your physical body are your true identity. When you believe your thoughts are you literally feed them your energy. But here's the reality. Thoughts and emotions aren't living things. They're just passing phenomena. When you identify with them, you're constantly giving away your life force to an illusion. And that is precisely why you're so endlessly tired. Section 2. One single question. It is time to strip away the noise. You actually don't need to add more knowledge to your life. We're all already suffocating under too much information anyway. Instead, we just need to return to our baseline. This quote from the source material hits the nail on the head. Truth is not something to believe, but something to observe. This journey, it's not about blind faith. It is not about finding some external savior to come fix your life. It's entirely about having the courage to independently, quietly observe your own internal state. It's about self-reliance and true, objective awareness. So let's ask our core question again, just in a slightly different way. When you feel that deep, heavy exhaustion, who is the one that is actually tired? Is it the true you, or is it just the physical body and that spinning mind? If you can simply notice the fatigue, then the observer, the true you, is separate from the fatigue itself. The observer isn't tired at all. It's just witnessing the exhaustion. Section 3. Thoughts are not you. This brings us to the intermediate layer of our understanding today, shifting how we fundamentally view the mind. And this brilliantly illustrates the separation we absolutely have to make. Your thoughts, your emotions, your body, they are simply objects. They are things that happen to you, phenomena that you experience. The observer, on the other hand, is your true self. The objects are like the vehicle you're driving or the weather outside. They are not the driver. Once you firmly separate the observer from the observed, the whole illusion just begins to crack. Let's look a bit closer at the true nature of thoughts, based on the True Awakening texts. First off, thoughts are not living things. We shouldn't hate them or fight them. They're essentially the monkeys of the ego that have temporarily hijacked your mind's operating system. And let's be honest, those monkeys can be incredibly loud. Second, they are highly useful tools for organizing your daily life, like planning a meeting or building a house. But third, and absolutely crucial, they're not the source of true freedom. You are never going to think your way into peace. A lot of people fail at meditation because they try to violently force their mind to stop thinking. But as the texts remind us, thoughts are not to be stopped but to quiet down naturally. You don't need to fight your mind. When you stop feeding the monkeys, when you just return to your fixed, quiet position as the observer, the thoughts naturally lose their power and just fade right into the background. Section 4. The technology of life. Sati. Now we're reaching the advanced layer of this wisdom. Because understanding this intellectually just isn't enough.
It requires active practice, which the source material calls a technology of life known as Sati. Now, Sati isn't some abstract academic concept of mindfulness. In this framework, it's a practical, active technology. It's a method to physically bypass the ego and the noisy thinking mind by deeply connecting with the movement of your body. It's making the conscious choice to return your awareness to that transparent, fixed position of the true self over and over again.
So the crucial point is that Sati allows you to totally upgrade your internal operating system. Remember that tiny bonsai pot we talked about earlier? True awakening requires you to destroy it. Stop confining your life force to fit societal expectations, and instead, plant your roots deep into the earth. Stop obsessing over pruning the leaves, which means stop trying to fix every little external problem or passing negative emotion, and instead fundamentally change your internal OS to operate directly from the position of the observer. But here's a reality check. Enthusiasm without direction is just wasted energy. The texts issue a very clear warning. If you walk without knowing the direction, no amount of effort will get you to your destination. Having the right map or compass is vital. The True Awakening program points to 2 specific translated texts by master practitioners as absolute prerequisites. They act as your compass, ensuring that when you put in the effort to observe, you're actually walking out of the illusion, rather than just running in circles inside of it. Section 5. A small observation starting today. So, how do we actually bring this deep philosophy into our incredibly busy modern lives? The beauty of this technology isn't require you to abandon your life, it just requires you to change how you observe it. Let's move to and see how this builds into an incredibly simple 2-week challenge outlined in the source. Step 1. Just 5 minutes of metta, or loving-kindness meditation in the morning. Step 2. 5 minutes at night. And step 3, this is the most important part. Observe your own resistance to doing this. This challenge is specifically designed to build your soul's vessel through tiny, easily kept promises to yourself. Because here is the real secret. The true goal of this 2-week challenge isn't to achieve perfect meditation. The goal is to catch your ego right in the act. You're going to watch your desire to escape. You'll watch your mind make up brilliant excuses. You'll observe the feeling of being too busy. And in the very moment you notice those excuses, you will realize you are not the excuse. You are the one observing the excuse. That realization, right there, that is a spark of Sati. If you are tired of the loop, this is your exit. As the text quietly yet so powerfully states, life doesn't change someday. It begins to change the day you decide to change. This simple 2-week commitment to just 5 minutes a day is your very first step out of the illusion. It's the moment you finally stop feeding that noisy machine and start cultivating your true life. We've covered a lot of ground today, but I really want you to leave with just this one directive. Today, let's just observe this. Take that core question, who is observing, and carry it quietly into your day. When you feel tired, when you feel anxious, just observe it. Remember, this explainer is just the doorway. It's a starting point, not the end of your understanding. If you want to take the 2-week challenge, read the compass materials, or explore the next steps in this awakening network, all the links to the original notes and resources are right down in the description below. So as you close this out and walk back into your life, ask yourself one last time, who is the one about to step away from the screen? Observe carefully, and we'll see you in the next one.